Hello everyone, welcome to the Holly Lolly channel. Today, we'll be discussing things that might seem strange in Japan. In other words, we'll talk about what you might do when visiting the land of the rising sun that could be considered odd in Japan. The first thing I want to mention is clothing. It's summer now, and the weather is incredibly hot, with scorching sun. As we're used to in our countries, we usually wear the lightest, most breathable clothes during this time of year, and no one will judge us if we go out in such outfits. But what happens in Japan? In Japan, people might not understand if you wear a crop top. For example, showing your belly in Japan is considered inappropriate. The same goes for baring your shoulders. For instance, in our countries, it's normal to wear a top with a deep neckline, but even slight cleavage is frowned upon in Japan. However, Japan is perfectly okay with short shorts and skirts. You know, I probably haven't seen shorts as short as they are in Japan in any other country. Shorts here can be of all different lengths. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether they're shorts or underwear. Miniskirts are also completely accepted in Japan. When it comes to miniskirts, you can wear them without worrying that anyone will judge you, no matter how short they are. However, I should note that in Japan, I've noticed that almost all skirts are sold as skirts, skirt shorts. It's quite windy here, so if the wind blows a girl's skirt up, there will be shorts underneath to cover her. But crop tops and bare shoulders, better forget about those in Japan. Talking more about clothing, it's worth mentioning that it's not customary here to wear overly tight clothes. People here aren't used to showing off their figures. Most girls and women wear loose, oversized clothes. For example, I go to the gym, and my sister and I are the only ones who wear leggings there. I've given up on tank tops and crop tops because I know they're not acceptable here. But Japanese women don't even wear leggings because they are tight. Women come to the gym in wide, loose-fitting sports pants, or they wear shorts over leggings to avoid highlighting their figures. The Japanese don't sunbathe because they know how harmful the sun is to our skin and bodies. The body ages faster when exposed to UV rays. Our girls love going to the beach and sunbathing under the blazing sun, but Japanese women don't sunbathe at all. Even when they go to the beach, they protect themselves as much as possible. They wear special suits that look like wetsuits, swimsuits with SPF protection, and carry umbrellas. Even when walking around the city, Japanese women apply sunscreen to their face and body several times a day. They also carry protective umbrellas, wear visors that cover their entire face from the sun, and special scarves or wraps, I'm not sure what they're called, that cover everything except their eyes. Of course, Japanese women also wear sun-protective sleeves. So, in short, a Japanese woman will cover her entire body from the sun. Everything will be under maximum protection. There are also special products available in summer to help people cool down because wearing all this isn't exactly comfortable. Many people carry fans or cooling devices. Some wear special gadgets around their necks that contain ice, which you freeze at home and wear outside. There are also neck fans that look like headphones and help keep you cool. All of this while keeping their skin fully covered from UV rays. Another thing that might seem strange in Japan is pierced ears. Almost no one here pierces their ears. It's not common. So when Japanese people see my 5-year-old daughter Anya, they're shocked that her ears are pierced. It's like, oh my gosh, how could this be? She's just a child because it's just not done here. When we go to the pool with my daughter, they make us remove her earrings because you can't swim with earrings in the pool. Even if you have the most secure earrings that take half an hour to remove, you still have to take them off, or you won't be allowed in the pool. Additionally, if someone has tattoos, they must be covered with special patches before entering the pool so that no one can see them because tattoos are still associated with the criminal world in Japan. Just as it's uncommon to wear earrings, it's also uncommon here to dye your hair in bright colors. By the way, people don't even dye their hair white, pink, or blue. You only see girls with such bright, cool hair colors in anime. Almost everyone here has black hair. Occasionally, you might see a slight tint of brown, and that's because no prestigious job in Japan would hire someone with dyed hair, so it's extremely rare to see anyone with dyed hair here. Also, it might surprise many of you, as it did me, to learn that the Japanese do not understand sarcasm, nor do they understand rhetorical questions. If you simply speak your thoughts aloud or ask a question that doesn't require an answer, the Japanese person may not understand you and will start literally answering the question you didn't expect a response to. Roughly speaking, if you ask, how many leaves are on this tree, or how many matches are in this box, you're just thinking out loud, but the Japanese person will start counting because you asked a question. Another discovery, which was not very very pleasant is that the Japanese rarely joke. When I first arrived in Japan, I noticed that many Japanese people laugh a lot, and I thought that this meant they have a culture filled with jokes, that they love to joke with each other. Later, I realized that this is actually awkward laughter. The Japanese tend to giggle when they feel uncomfortable, as a way to cover up the awkwardness of the situation. It's said that Japanese people who speak English or have lived abroad are easier to connect with. For instance, we were talking with such a Japanese person and thought he might at least be more receptive to jokes. I don't know about you, but I find it difficult to communicate with someone who doesn't understand jokes at all. You know, when you're talking to someone, you might make a joke, and they joke back, and the conversation just flows better. One day, we were just chatting with him and mentioned that apartments here are so small, and that the one we rent is also tiny, but for some reason, we have a huge balcony. We jokingly said, you know, in our country sometimes people enclose their balconies to expand their living space. We made a joke about how it would be great if we could enclose the balcony here. Of course, it was just a joke. We didn't seriously think about doing that. We're not crazy. I know you need permission just to put a nail in the wall here, let alone enclosing a balcony. So, it was clearly a joke. But the Japanese person awkwardly giggled and then added, please don't do that in Japan. After that, we realized that it's better not to joke in Japan at all. Another fact that may surprise you is that it's not customary to visit someone's home in Japan. Unlike in our countries, where you might visit friends, or they might visit you, with frequent evening gatherings at home, especially on weekends when friends or family come together, this is not the norm in Japan. Your home is your sanctuary, your fortress. It's very rare for someone to invite others to their home. So, if you live in Japan and someone invites you over, it means that person really likes you. In Japan, it's not customary to give up your seat in public transport. The Japanese believe that there are specially designated seats in each subway car for the elderly, disabled, pregnant women, and women with small children. If I'm not mistaken, there are 6 such seats in each car, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. Therefore, the Japanese believe that there's no need to give up regular seats, because everyone gets tired, everyone works, etc. And honestly, I've been living in Japan for 3 years now, but it still feels a bit strange to me, and I always feel like I should jump up and give up my seat to someone, because, as we know, Japan has a lot of elderly people, and naturally, about half the passengers in the subway car are elderly, and those 6 designated seats are simply not enough for everyone. I know that some people get offended if you offer them your seat. I've tried offering my seat a few times, and some people have categorically refused. I can see that it makes them uncomfortable, as if they don't like the idea that you thought they were old enough to need a seat. But some still gratefully bow and accept the seat. However, in general, it's very rare to see someone giving up their seat in Japan. You're more likely to see young people, school kids, or students sitting while someone with a cane stands nearby, elderly people, or someone with small children standing, and no one giving up their seat. So, it's just not the norm here, and honestly, it makes me a bit sad to realize that. But what can you do? It's their country and their rules. I'm just sharing the differences between our countries. And speaking of the subway and public transport, it's worth mentioning that it's not customary to talk on your mobile phone in any public place here. It's not even customary to walk down the street talking on the phone. You can't talk on the phone in the subway. And if you're out with friends, you shouldn't talk loudly. It's fine to have quiet conversations among yourselves, but not on the phone. This is because they highly value comfort and are considerate of others, thinking that you might disturb someone. People around you might be coming home from work, tired, or just going about their day, and everyone is either on their phones or listening to music, not bothering anyone. If you talk on your mobile, you'll likely irritate everyone around you. No one will probably say anything to you or scold you, but it would be very impolite. Despite the fact that most Japanese people are very reserved, if you approach someone on the street to ask for directions, they won't just tell you how to get there. They often show you or accompany you to your destination. I remember once I couldn't figure out the navigation and didn't know how to transfer to another subway line. I had to walk about 700 meters, exit to the street, find the signs, and cross the road. It was all very complicated, and I was just wandering back and forth with my GPS, unsure of where to go because it first showed one direction and then another. A Japanese man who was in a hurry noticed me, and it was clear he was late for something, but he stopped and asked me in English if he could help. I just asked how to get to another subway line, and he realized I wouldn't manage on my own. He said, "Let's go, I'll show you." I said, "It's not on your way." He replied, "It's okay, I'll take you." And he ran the whole distance with me, ensuring I reached the right place before continuing on his way. This wasn't the first time. I've also seen how Japanese people help others. They've helped me many times too. Once I was just standing, looking for something on my phone, and people who knew English, since most Japanese don't, approached me and offered help. They thought I might have a problem or not know where to go, so they offered assistance. It's very nice that in a foreign country, you can freely ask someone for help. I wonder how people in our countries would react to a foreigner asking for help. At best, they might tell you where to go or whom to ask, but for someone to accompany you to your destination seems rare. In Japan, it's common. Japanese people care about their social status and express themselves through brands, wearing branded clothes. I asked a Russian-speaking Japanese friend about his trip to a CIS country. He was shocked that many people wore fake brands. He said, "How is this possible? In Japan, if someone wears branded items, they're 100% genuine, or else they wear no-name items. No one wears fakes." I found this amusing, as I never paid attention to it, but since a Japanese person noticed, I decided to share it with you. In Japan, it's considered impolite to say no. Culturally, refusing someone is seen as rude and disrespectful and can offend. I'm from a country where saying no politely is normal. It's a mystery to me how to read Japanese nonverbal cues, like when someone nods and smiles, and you wonder if they mean it or are just being polite. Even in Japanese language courses, they teach you how to refuse properly. You can't just say, "No, I can't come tomorrow." You need to say something like, "A walk in the park sounds great," and then change the subject. The other person will understand you don't want to go or have other plans. If you truly want to meet, you need to set a specific time and place. And so if a specific time and place for the meeting has been set, it means people genuinely want to meet with you. If the idea is praised but the conversation doesn't continue, it means they've refused. For me, this was an unpleasant discovery. I didn't know this and expected meetings to happen, but then people wouldn't follow up or reply to messages, and I didn't understand why. Looking at the cars behind me, I realized I should mention that here no one honks their horns. Even if someone doesn't start moving at a green light, no one will honk or hint that it's time to go. Everyone waits patiently. When I travel outside Japan and hear a car horn, it startles me. I am not used to it anymore. Here, they highly value silence and care for others, so honking is uncommon. Friends, I hope this episode was informative for you. Let me know what you learned or what surprised you. I'd love to read your comments. Arigato for watching, and see you in future episodes. Bye-bye!